All right, so there's a realistic possibility here. We're talking figure of the year possibilities. And you know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about this Logan action figure. Let's review them. Hey YouTube, what goes on? And welcome back to Disavowed Action Figures, bringing you another action figure review. Tonight, taking a closer look at the Marvel Legends Wolverine 50-year anniversary Logan and Sabertooth Victor Creed 2-pack. I am so friggin' pumped. Obviously, I jest slightly. I am not all about the Logan. I'm sure it's a great figure. I am all about this Sabertooth. I hope this is good. This is the Sabertooth we've wanted in our collection for a very long time. They tried to give it to us early on. Wasn't quite what we wanted. Wasn't quite big enough. The buck wasn't great. I've heard nothing but good things about this. Now, before you run out to all your big box stores and GameStops and everything else, I did not get this anywhere on those sites. I got this from cmdstore.com. CMD Store up in New York / Canada. I did pay slightly more than retail to get this thing in hand, plus the shipping. I just couldn't wait to get this Sabertooth. I'm pumped. This whole review is going to be focused just on Sabertooth. Maybe we'll revisit Logan on another day, but I'm so pumped for this figure that we're not going to take any time away from talking about the Sabertooth figure itself. So you've already seen the packaging on the sides and the front and the back. The top of it, we do get the 50 years, the 50th anniversary of Wolverine. We get our Marvel's Logan, our Sabertooth right there. And I mentioned the side art already. That's looking pretty good. That's looking really freaking cool for that Sabertooth. Very pumped to have this bottom. All the crap we don't really care about. I can't wait to get Sabertooth out of the packaging. If you're new to my channel, what we'll basically do is we'll obviously look at the box art. We will take it out of the box. We'll kind of take a close look at the figure itself, the aesthetics. We'll look at the accessories. We'll move them around a little bit. And look at the part that you all want to see the most, the part I love the most, which is showing you comparisons to plenty of Marvel Legends. A lot of Marvel Legends comparisons will be in this video, as well as other action figure lines. So I did want to show you the figures in packaging because obviously Sabertooth is much larger than Logan as he's supposed to be. But the cardboard part of the window packaging covers up his legs. So it almost looks like they're similar height. They are not. And I have to say, Hasbro, Marvel Legends team, thank you for bringing back the window packaging because figures like this, you could still keep mint on card or in package if you wanted to. And it just looks freaking great being able to see these things through that window. Seeing these behind cardboard would not have been the same thing. All right, let's get Creed out of the packaging. And here is Sabertooth out of his packaging, and I could not be happier. Oh my gosh, oh my goodness. This will be a top 5 figure of the year potentially for me. I'm marking out already on this thing. I know I haven't moved it around yet much on camera. I did a little bit off camera to make sure everything was good with it. But this is definitely the Sabertooth I wanted for my collection. I like the buck. I like the way it looks. The accessories are decent with what it comes with for what it needed. So take a close look at the accessories, then the figure itself, and then move them around and get to those comparisons. So in terms of accessories, we do get an alternate head. I can't decide which one I like better right now, to be honest. This is the kind of like smiling, taunting, hey, Wolverine, I'm going to kill your entire family again kind of face. The whited out eyes definitely bring menace to the figure. The hair looks freaking great. We get that like mask, whatever you want to call it, going on. The chops on the side. The teeth look good. Again, this head sculpt is fantastic. You also do get the 2 alternate hands. These are kind of more like the, I guess you could say like the claw / like half gripping hands that you could use to basically grab a figure. So again, they are both basically the same hand going on right there. Nothing crazy with these. The fingernails came out really good from what I can tell. Has some veins popping here on the front of the hand. But again, looks cool. But again, you also get the hands that are attached, obviously, and the head sculpt that's attached, which we'll take a look at right now. So now let's take a close look at the figure itself up close. Here is the default head sculpt that it comes with on the figure. This is the screaming head. I love that we do get 2 heads with this figure. Again, I feel like too often we don't get a screaming head as well as an alternate head for either a smile or a more static looking face. So this to me looks great. You got to have both of these with Sabertooth to show off different types of emotion with the character. As far as other aesthetics go to this thing, it's just Sabertooth. It looks the way it's supposed to look. The paint you do have on it is well done. I do like that they did put the hair and the back here do seem to have a little bit of a wash or something going on here, that there's a change in color with it. The face itself, again, you can see this one here. You kind of get like the red going around the white eyes. Teeth look good. You got the fangs in there looking good as well. Just overall, I don't see anything wrong with this as far as how it looks. I like the fact that this is actually attached on here this time around, and I'll talk more about that when we do compare Sabertooth from other Marvel Legends waves later on in the video. But even looking at the back here, we get some folds going on in the uniform. Really, the main, I guess you would call it, is the thing they really had to do a great job with. I think that they did. That might have some negative influence on the figure when we get to articulation, but nothing that I'm upset about. You've kind of like a cleft chin going on right there, if you can see it on the face. But yeah, this does what it needs to do as far as how it looks. You do have the soft plastic back part of the gloves going on right here. This is what the gloves look like on the default figure, kind of more of an open hand, I guess you would say, than the other hands we looked at before. But again, overall, this thing looks the way it should look from what I can tell. Calf muscles are very defined on this thing. We'll talk more about the buck that it's on later on as well, but I'm happy with how it looks. So let's get to some articulation with this guy. So in terms of articulation, starting with the head, he will bury the chin about that far down, not very far back because of the mane, which will take away from some of the articulation on this figure. A little bit of the side to side, a little more to this side, it feels like, again, working around the mane right here. You do get some tilt going on right there, some attitude to kind of make him look at that homicidal killer that he actually is. So pretty good right there. As far as the arms are going to go, it will go out about that far. You can rotate it, but obviously you got to work your way around the mane right here. Upper bicep cut going on right there. As you can see, we do have the double jointed pinless elbows, which is good to see, pinless elbows. The hand will rotate all the way around. It will go left to right on the horizontal articulation right there. You do get the butterfly joints right here, like the other figures on this buck. However, you're going to notice that it's not going to go as far back necessarily because of the mane. And even the front, you do, if you lower it, go a little bit across the center. But the problem is you're going to keep catching that main part right there as well. As far as the legs are concerned, leg will kick forward about that far. Leg will kick back about that far. They are pinned. They're pinned legs. You're going to just have that pinned on this figure. There are some pins on me. Double jointed knee going all the way back. You do have the upper thigh cut going on right there. Foot will go down about that far. Foot will go up about that far. It is on a rocker like we're used to seeing. As far as a split goes, I mean, it's Sabertooth. You really want to see a split, but there's Sabertooth split right there. And then as far as the torso goes, he will go about that far forward. He will go about that far back. Looks good in here. No side to side. You do have the waist swivel going on right there. So articulation, pretty much what you'd probably expect from this buck. So my favorite part of these videos is doing some comparisons. Marvel Legends heavy comparisons, people, for this one, right? You have to do it. So kicking it off here with the Omega Red, the initial Omega Red release, and not the one that came in the Wolverine 5-pack, and then the Venom that came in the Amazon exclusive 3-pack. I believe all three of these are on the same buck, pretty much. As far as some other parts, obviously, are going to be different. Arms are not the same. You can see we have pins on Omega Red. We have pins here on Venom. We are pinless here on Sabertooth. Again, the legs look to be pretty much the same. Obviously, they have the same pins going on. All sorts of shoulder stuff going on here. Venom arms, obviously, are going to have more of the Venom-looking suit going on. So, again, there's differences about these figures. It's just that the main overall buck, I'm pretty sure, is the same. Sabertooth, you can't really see the back of the neck because it is covered with the mane. But, again, this is a buck that we all wanted used on Venom. We got it. We all wanted it on Sabertooth. We got it. So I'm pretty happy with the buck that they used here. And then comparing some other Sabertooths from Sabertooth past of recent Marvel Legends. This is probably the one that most of us do have at this point. That was the Apocalypse Wave Sabertooth, I believe, and you could just see how much smaller he really is. And at the time, I remember, I wasn't too picky on figures at the time. I was just getting back into the hobby. But I remember thinking to myself, he looked kind of small compared to Wolverine and other figures. Much more massive over here. Definitely a superior figure. And then this is the Age of Apocalypse. Shout out to you, Dante. AOA Sabertooth figure, which is larger. Still the biggest Sabertooth that we have. Earlier on, I mentioned how I was happy this part was actually connected. This actually comes right off. It just keys in the back. So if you didn't have this Sabertooth in the past, it was a good placeholder for as long as it needed to be. However, we finally got the one we deserved. And again, the fact that this wasn't even attached at the time wasn't too great. So I was going to buy the recent Sabertooth, the original origin or first debut Sabertooth that over at Ross, and I decided to save $7 and not do that. And I know people love their head swaps. So I did swap the heads here. You can also see how much larger this Sabertooth really is compared to the one from the Apocalypse Wave. So people have complained on the different podcasts I hang out on, Infinity Equation podcast and the Mega Powers podcast on the Yojo Jerk channel, I had said in the chat they felt that the head was too large on the new Sabertooth. So there's the old head. I think that looks a lot smaller than it should look on there. Obviously, the head of the new Sabertooth looks ridiculously large to me on this one over here. I think that the head looks fine on the new Sabertooth. I haven't noticed it looking too large, but let me know in the comments. Am I wrong? Yeah, I can agree to disagree. And of course, I need at least one Wolverine here on display. All Wolverines are about the same height, so I'm not going to bust them all out here. But here is Wolverine from the Apocalypse Build-A-Figure wave, as well as Jubilation Lee chilling here. I've talked about my affinity for X-Men comics, such as the Phalanx coming from back in the 90s. I feel like Sabretooth had a pretty big role in that alongside Jubilee, as well as X-Men the Animated Series, which is coming back real soon this month, which I'm pumped about. She did have some run-ins in Season 1 with him as well. And as these comparisons get larger, I may have to back the camera back a little bit. Here is a comparison I really wanted to see, which was the Cyber, another of Wolverine's Rogue Gallery, here with the adamantium arms. He did come in that Wolverine 5-pack, I believe. And also Maverick, who is another Team X member hanging out with Sabertooth here. And I think you can really see Sabertooth's size coming out here. Cyber being slightly taller. However, I think Maverick does compare well with the Sabertooth. And to show some comparisons with some female Marvel Legends characters, here we do have two women who have definitely had a stamp on Wolverine and Sabertooth's lives. Here is Mystique, who, spoiler alert, might have had a little of a relationship with Victor Creed in the past, as well as Lady Deathstrike, whom Sabretooth has encountered over the years in the comics due to their associations with Mr. Wolverine. And my final Marvel Legends comparisons, here is the Sabertooth as compared to our SDCC exclusive frickin' Deadpool throwing up the peace sign, drinking some champagne, along with our Target exclusive Red Hulk. Some non-Marvel Legends comparisons, here is the Mezco Toys John Constantine figure, as well as the Jada Toys Street Fighter 2 Ken Masters figure. And again, I just love being able to play along with these 6-inch lines, kind of mix and match, see how they look together on shelves. It's part of the fun of this hobby. And here is Sabertooth as compared to a Hasbro G.I. Joe Classified figure being Dusty, as well as my recently reviewed Whoosh Toys Bone Brawler Pumpkin Skeleton. Had a lot of fun cracking that open and reviewing it. I'll link that down below. And here he is standing with the NECA Raphael in disguise from the TMNT 2-pack that came along with our Casey Jones, as well as the Plunderlings Feral Cheetah. And I kind of feel like these two could be like in a pro wrestling league together with those semi-matching costumes. And for all you DC Multiverse McFarlane collectors out there, here is the 7-inch scale big bad mother fragger himself, Lobo, as compared to the 6-inch style Marvel Legends Sabertooth. And I kind of want to see these guys fight on a comic book panel. Let's bring back Marvel versus DC in 2024 for the comics. And last, and as everybody loves to say, certainly not least, here is the new Marvel Legends Sabertooth action figure as compared to the AEW Unrivaled Jazzwares Orange Cassidy. And I mentioned earlier the Plunderling Feral Cheetah kind of matches up with Sabertooth. Kind of feel like Orange Cassidy, you know, orange, also in the title. Maybe it's a trios team, who knows? So my final thoughts here on the Wolverine 50 Years Sabertooth 2-pack is that I love it. It's great. Could we have gotten pinless legs? Sure, we could have. I don't know what else we could have gotten with this. Maybe alternate hands. I don't know, a third head? I don't really know. I'm digging it. I'm so happy to have it in my collection. I do not feel as if spending some extra money to get it early is something I regret doing, because I really do dig this figure a lot. And I'm going to actually be able to avoid the feeling of anxiety of not being able to find it. And you know what? Down the road, it's cheaper than retail, then so be it. Some other collector will make out on it. But definitely digging this. This is the Sabertooth we've wanted for a long time. This should be your iconic Sabertooth, your ultimate Sabertooth in your collection moving forward for the X-Men waves. So thanks for watching, everybody. If you're new, please consider hitting that subscribe button. It's free for you. It does not cost you anything, and it helps us grow the channel tremendously in the march to 6,000 subscribers. While you're at it, go ahead and click that bell for notifications. That way YouTube will notify you and tell you when we post new content here at the channel, like our weekly toy hunts, reviews, and live streams. Leave a comment down below. hit that like button. And for daily toy content and daily toy updates, try checking us out over at Instagram and Twitter at Disavowed_12. Hey everybody, if you're going toy hunting this week, please try to remember the 3 P's of the toy hunt: patience, persistence, but most of all, politeness. Take care, stay healthy, and I'll be seeing all of you at the pegs.